then we will start our lecture. Okay. Hello everyone. So in the mobile computing and wireless communication, we have studied the OSI reference layer, and today we are going to study the OSI reference layer transport layer. Okay, we have studied physical layer and data link layer and all the error correction and detection techniques. So now, the transport layer and its services. We must know that what is the function of the transport layer, because each and every layer, individual layer, have their own features and functionality, so that if there is any troubleshooting required, then we can easily find that where is the problem. So here in the transport layer, the services provided by transport layers are similar to those of the data link layer. And the data link layer provides the services within the single network, while the transport layer provides the services across an inter-network made up of many networks. Okay, as we know, the data link layer provides the services within a single network, and the transport layer provides across the internetwork made up of many networks, and the data link layer controls the physical layer while the transport layer controls all the lower layers. Okay, so the data link layer will only control the physical layer, but the transport layer will control all the lower layers like the data link layer and physical layer. Now, the services provided by the transport layers are divided into 5 categories. First, end-to-end delivery. It will ensure that the sender and receiver has established the connection properly and the message has been sent properly. End-to-end delivery is checked, then addressing, then reliable delivery, flow control, and multiplexing. So, next layer is our network layer. So the main functions of the network layer are routing, logical addressing, internetworking, and fragmentation. So routing, when the packets reaches the router's input link, the router will move the packets to the router's output link. For example, packet from S1 to R1, source 1 to receiver 1 must be forwarded to the next router on the path to S2. Means there is a predefined route, right? S1, S2, S3. Suppose we have three routers and we are sending our data from S1, S2, S3 to R1, then the next router must be known by the first router so that actual data transmissions can be done. Now, same way the logical addressing is done. The data link layer implements the physical addressing and the network layer implements the logical addressing. So the logical addressing is also used to distinguish between the source and destination. And the network layer adds the header to check the packet, which include the logical address of the both sender and receiver. So while you are sending the packets, at the header you will have the logical address. So where the logical address is calculated at the network layer. And the next function is internetworking. So this is the main role of network layer, and it provides the logical connection between different types of network. Suppose if you are sending the data from one network to another network, like if it is goes from one network to another network, like have multiple networks till source to destination, then there should be the connection between all the networks, right? So there should be some logical link establishment, and that can be done through the internetworking, we could say. And logical connection between the different networks is done at the network layer. And the next function is fragmentation. Like as we know, if we send our whole packets on the network and if it will follow the same route, then it is very difficult, right? And again it will be time consuming from source to destination that the message has reached. But if we do the fragmentation, so the process of breaking the packets into smaller individual units that travel through different network, so the data rate at which the packets reached is faster as compared to without fragmentation. So the purpose of fragmentation is we could divide our original message into different small individual data units, so that different data units can pass through different routers, and whatever the shortest path and where the low traffic of the data, the path will be chosen accordingly, and we will get the receiver will get the data in the same sequence as it is sent by the sender. So defragmentation is also occur at the receiver side. Okay, so these are the basic functions of the network layer. Now the next layer is application layer. So the application layer is in the OSI model is the closest layer to the end user. This is visible layer, you can say, right? Which means that the application layer and the end user can interact directly. The view portion, we could say, right? The presentation you can view. It is called as application layer, which is directly deal with the end user or the application user, right? The application layer programs are based on the client and server. So what are the duties included in the application layer? It identifies the communication partners. So the application layer identifies the availability of the communication partners for the application with the data to transmit. Second, it determines the resource availability. If you have suppose given the print command and printer is not available, right? What we could do at that time, how we could come to know that the printer is not available? You get the message that there is a missing of the printer, or there is a paper jam on the printer. So these kind of message reveal that there is some issue, there is some error. So to determine the resource availability, the application layer has capability to determine. The application layer determines whether the sufficient network resources are available for the requested communication. It will check it. The next is synchronizing the communication, right? All the communication across all the networks, right, occurs between the application require cooperation, which is managed by the application layer. So what is the example of synchronizing communication? Suppose at the same time one system is accepting multiple data, and at the same time the data should not be corrupted, or any vulnerable activity should not happen. So at that time the synchronization must be done. Some what should be taken, that if suppose same resource is accessed by multiple resources, right? So we have studied in database management system, suppose we'll take that example, that suppose one particular file is accessed by multiple user, and if any changes has been done to that file, then that should be reflected to every person who is accessing that, right? If suppose one is writing the uh, edit command on that, then others should not edit, only the view command is available. So that semaphores we apply, right? So semaphores are used in the software aspect in the synchronization of the communication. The same thing is applicable in the synchronizing of your multiple resources at the application layer, that the communication has occurred smoothly. So that is the benefit of the application layer, and it will ensure all the functionality provided by the application layer. Now, the next one is the network virtual terminal. The application layer allows a user to log on to the remote host. And to do so, the application creates the software emulation for terminal at the remote host. And the user is computer talks to the software terminal, and which in turn talks to the host. So the remote host think that it is communicating with one of its own terminal. So it allows the user to log on. So this virtual terminal approach, if you want to provide, then it is also, we can provide it by the application layer. Then file transfer, access and management. The application allows a user to access the files in the remote computer, to retrieve the files from the computer, and to manage the files in the remote computer. So the security point of view also, if, as I told you, if you are accessing any file and if you are doing modification, then none other User can do the modification at the same time on that particular file. So it defines the hierarchical virtual file in the form in the terms of file structure, file attributes, and the kind of operations performed on the files and their attribute. So these are all the applications. These are all the functions of the application layer. Now addressing. So to obtain the communication between the client and server, there is a need for addressing. When the client made a request to the server, the request contains the server address and its own address. So the server responses to the client request, and the request contains the destination address, and that is the client address. To achieve this kind of addressing, DNS is used, right? So what, suppose, as you are aware that we do not write IP addresses while we want to access any website. What we do, we give the name to that particular IP address. Let's take an example of Google. What you write, www.google.com, you do not write www.10.0.0.225, right? We do not write IP address, we write the DNS name, so that it is very easy to remember. So these are the addressing techniques, or you can say method, by which you can access the particular, I'm sorry, particular file. Now, mail services. An application layer provide the email forwarding and storage also. Then directory services also. Application contains the distributed database that provide access for the global information about various objects and services. And one more, authentication means it authenticate the sender and receiver message, or both, whether the both parties are valid or not, right? So these are the functions of the application layer. So this is all about our OSI layers, and now we will move to another topic, which is also a crucial topic for mobile communication, right? Antennas and the types of propagation mode. Now, propagation is always occur in the radio waves, right? So we must know what is radio waves. So the radio waves are easy to generate and are widely used for both indoor and outdoor communication. Because of their ability to pass through the buildings and travel through long distances, it is widely accepted, right? So there are different frequencies in the VLF, LF, and MF bands. This is the very low frequency, and medium frequency band. The propagation of waves, called as ground waves, follow the curvature of the earth. We will see the diagram of it so that you can come to know that how these frequencies passes through. The maximum transmission ranges of these waves are of the order of a few hundred kilometers. Now, there are they are used for low bandwidth transmission, such as AM radio broadcasting, that is amplitude modulation radio broadcasting. Now, the HF VHF band, right? High frequency and very high frequency band transmissions are absorbed by the atmosphere near Earth's surface. However, a portion of the radiation, called as skywave, is radiated outward and upward to the ionosphere in the upper atmosphere. So the rays are transmitted to the ionosphere, right? Or to the very low, outward and upward. So the ionosphere contains the ionized particles formed due to the sun's radiation, and these ionized particles reflects the sky waves back to the earth, and a powerful sky waves may be reflected several times between the earth and to the ionosphere. So the sky waves are used by amateur ham radio operator and for military communication. Okay, so we have two types of radio waves, right? First, we have seen ground wave, which is at the frequency band very low frequency, and medium frequency. And then we have high frequency and very high frequency. It is called as sky wave. So you have to remember this too. First one is ground wave, second one is sky wave. Now, and third one is line of sight. Now see, suppose these three diagrams we have. First is ground wave, so frequency ranges up to 2 megahertz and it follows the contour of the earth. Example is AM wave, amplitude radio waves. See, now here the curve of the propagation signal you can see from the transmitter to receiver. It is to the level of the ground. Only up to 2 megahertz frequency is used. In the sky wave, what will happen? The signal rays are transferred to the ionosphere, right? And from the ionosphere, the rays will be propagated back to the earth, and again that will be again sent to the sky ionosphere, and that way it is used in a very long distancing amateur radio wave or military communication. It is used, okay, and can be travel thousands of kilometers, while the range of the ground wave is slightly low, right? And sky wave is having the frequency up to 2 to 30 megahertz, right? So this is used in, I'm sorry, military communication. Now the third one is line of sight. Now see, the transmitting and receiving antennas must be within the line of sight. Okay, you have to fix the antennas in the line of sight so that the transmitter and receiver will get the proper signaling. So the frequency range is more than 30 megahertz. Okay, so the best example of the line of sight is TV, satellite, optical communication. So where these three types of radio signaling behave. We'll see individually, but this is the brief idea of the three waves. So let's begin. So the main radio wave propagation, the mode of propagation of the electromagnetic waves in the atmosphere and in the free space may be divided into three categories, right? First is line of sight propagation, ground wave propagation, and sky wave propagation. So the line of sight propagation, among the modes of propagation, this line of sight propagation is one which we commonly notice. Q, because we use the TV, right? In the line of sight communication, as the name implies, the wave travels a minimum distance of a sight, which means it travels to the distance up to which a naked eye can see, that much distance. Now, what happened after that? We need to employ an amplifier come transmitter here to amplify the signal and transmit again. So we need amplifier and transmitter. Now this is the diagram of the line of sight propagation. It is about 30 megahertz, right? So the antenna or the tower are likely to be seen by the naked eyes. That much distance is required, or that much distance the signals can travel, okay, from transmitting antennas to receiving antenna. Then we have seen that ground wave propagation. So these ground wave propagations of the wave follows the contour of the earth, right? Such a wave is called as direct wave also. The wave sometimes bends due to the earth magnetic field and gets reflected to the receiver. Here you can see from the source to destination the surface, right? So the surface wave, the waves, direct waves are there, but sometimes the wave is bent, right, on the earth due to the earth's magnetic field. Okay, so such a wave can be termed as a reflected waves also. So in the ground wave propagation, the data signals can also transmit it in the earth's magnetic field also. And we have the sky wave propagation is preferred when the waves has to travel a longer distance. Here the wave is projected onto the sky and it is again reflected back onto the earth. So the waves are shown to the transmitted from one place and where it is received by many receivers. Hence it is an example of broadcasting. Okay, as it is transmitted to the ionosphere and received by many receivers, so it is also called as broadcasting. The waves which are transmitted from the transmitter antenna are reflected from the ionosphere. It consists of several layers of the charged particles running in the altitude from 32 to 50 miles above the surface of the earth. That is also called as ionosphere. So such a travel of the wave from transmitter to the ionosphere and from there to receiver on the earth. So it is known as sky wave propagation. So the ionosphere is the ionized layer around the earth's atmosphere which is suitable for the sky wave propagation. So this is the combined diagram of the propagation. Here you can see the ground wave, right? Then we have the communication satellite, space wave, right? Ionosphere and line of sight. Okay, ground wave, sky wave, and your line of sight. So here you can see the overall picture of the propagation. Okay, so this is about the types of propagation required. The next topic we will see afterwards. Okay, now